Hello, welcome to the Two Chicks Homestead Podcast. We are the Two Chicks. Yay!
Hi, I'm Nate.
And I'm Erin, and we talk about homesteading and living on a small piece of land.
All right, everyone, welcome to episode 35.
Oh, dear.
Oh, dear. So if you've been paying attention to social media, I got a deer over the weekend.
Yep.
And not just any old deer. A 14-point buck that weighed every bit of 200 pounds. Took two of us to even drag it an inch. Then we had to go get the ATV with the sled and pull it out of the woods that way. Because he was a big son of a bitch.
Yeah. I wasn't here.
Yeah, you were out at the river house with the girls, so
Yep.
You got a text message about 30 seconds after I shot it, and it went running off into the woods.
We have to start with this was opening weekend.
Yes. So, Illinois bow hunting season usually starts around October 1st, and it goes through middle of January. And I've been hunting for about 3 years in this spot. And it's down the lane, and it's approximately a quarter-mile walk from where my stand is, or where the stand is, to our back door. So, usually I'll take the ATV and I'll run halfway down the lane, then walk the rest, just to have the ATV close. Well, this time I decided to walk all the way down there. So I get up about 4 o'clock in the morning, do my morning routine, get ready, get dressed, and walk all the way down to the end of the lane, and it is pitch black out. So I got a little flashlight, get me out there. We do have coyotes out back, but I'm not really worried about them. I got a bow on me, and really I have other things on me as well. So it's a nice little walk, and the one thing I like about being back there is you wake up with the forest. Like, everything just starts coming alive.
Mm-hmm.
You get all the squirrels running around that you think is a deer coming through the woods, but it's not. It's just a squirrel. You get all the birds starting to chirp, and we have some really big owls around here. Like, you and I went for a walk today, and we saw the one flying around. I don't know what kind he is, but he's big.
Mm-hmm.
He's a beautiful owl. Then we got a few hawks flying around, so we'll see them every once in a while. So my stand is down at the end of the lane. It's got a little clearing. I posted some pictures on our Facebook page. And I'm basically looking south is how the stand is set up. And then I have a shooting lane to the east and a shooting lane to the west. And the one to the west is a wide open clearing. And then to the east is right before you go into what is now the cornfield next door. And there's a waterway in there that a lot of the deer use going between the two fields. So, get all set up. Opening day. I've been hunting back there for 3 years. Never shot a deer back there. Like, the only deer I've ever shot was on a air quote guided tour from my neighbor who took me to his private land that's about 25-30 acres that has food plots, blinds, the whole 9 yards. Like, he has set it up for hunting. It is beautiful out there. And that's where I shot my first deer during shotgun season, and that was a bald buck, so he'd already lost his antlers. He had a busted front leg, and he was moving really slow. So it was more of a mercy kill than a hey, I got my first deer kill. So that was 2 years ago. I shot that one.
Yep.
Last year I had tag soup. I did not get any deer, so I had to eat my tags.
Mm-hmm.
That was a pretty rough year. I was kind of really hoping we'd do it because I was out there every weekend, both Saturday and Sunday, morning, evenings, when I could. And then I'd go out during, right, if it was light enough when I got home from work, I'd go run down there and go sit for a couple hours before it got dark out. I saw one deer last year, and he busted me up in the stand. So he made me, and then just bolted, took off. Like, he saw me clear as day. I took a running shot at a coyote that was running around when they did the fields next door. They were out there mousing one morning, chasing the field mice up and down the field. And I took a shot at one as he ran by me. It was just as it was getting light. But missed him, landed right between his legs. And this is when I was using my recurve bow.
Mm-hmm.
So I have a 40-pound recurve, old school. It's got some sights on it. They're not perfect. It's a real fun bow to shoot. And I've always shot recurve, so I'm like, I'm going to get this $100 recurve and I'm going to go try and kill a deer with it. Well, that didn't really work, being up in the stand. This thing is 69 inches tall. It's real hard to maneuver around in a stand and not make noise bumping into the metal, or you gotta hang way off the edge to even get a shot where the area that I wanted to shoot into. So this year, end of last year, I got a crossbow. It's a Bear Intense. Great crossbow to shoot, all in one package. Comes with the crossbow and the sight and the wax little thing on there. You gotta wax your string and wax the slide. And then I put a special operations equipment 2-point bungee sling on it, so I can carry it as I walk down the lane. It's really comfortable sling. It's got some give to it. It helps me stabilize it. Like if I have it around my shoulder, I can pull it tight, and then the bungee kind of locks it into my shoulder, which is really nice. You get a better stable shot. So I get set up, getting ready to go down there, and sun comes up. I post a picture on our Facebook page, out here with my radio, grab a fang, go in a woods. It's a joke from the ham radio crash course. And, I just kind of posted that around, just playing on my phone a little bit. Kind of, looking around, see if I hear anything. It's opening day. I'm not expecting to see anything. I'm not hearing any noises, not seeing anything, nothing. And about probably 8 o'clock, I'm like, I'm going to get out of this stand. I don't see anybody. I don't hear anything. This is when I get frustrated if I don't at least see something or hear something or whatever. Because, it's getting light out. And I didn't have any real big bucks on the cameras. So we have a couple game cameras down at the end as well. I just had a doe with a fawn, and then kind of a smaller buck, like a 6-pointer or something. And, I'm standing up in the stand. I'm like, I'll look around, I'll check the bean field, I'll see if I can see anything coming that way. So I'm standing up looking that way, and I turn my head to look east in the waterway that is 8-foot tall weeds, you'd say? Because you were up in the stand earlier today.
Yeah.
You were checking it out. And these weeds are every bit of 8 feet tall. They're as tall, if not taller than the corn over there. And I see there's this little clearing in the weeds in the waterway, and there's a buck coming. I'm like, oh boy, here we go. So he took him a while to work his way through the weeds. He was getting tangled up in the antlers and just kind of moseying on his way over, and I'm still kind of facing off to the west, and he's coming in from the east, and I'm just kind of looking over my shoulder, trying to not make eye contact with him and spook him. Like, he's looking around, he kind of glances up in my area that I'm standing, but he doesn't tell it's me, and he just keeps on coming, and finally he gets out of the weeds, and I can actually see him. I'm like, okay, this is an 8-point buck. It looks really good, decent size. I'm like, all right. So I give it a little bit. I'm standing there. I want him to get in to where the stand is to the south. We have 2 trees there that I didn't put a shooting lane in, just so I could, if I had one coming in from either the east or the west, I had a spot where I could reach down, grab my bow, and get set up for when he comes into my shooting lanes. I'm ready for him. So as soon as he got into that area with all the leaves, I was able to reach down, grab my bow, get situated, so when he came past those leaves, I was ready to take the shot when he was walking west. And as soon as he came out, took a couple deep breaths, calmed down, brought the sight up, the bow up to my shoulder, crossbow, and I looked through the sight, and I found his head, and then I slowly moved back, and then down to where I thought it was going to be, a good shot in the vitals, and I drilled him. Like, I got both lungs and probably one of the arteries, because he took off like a shot out of a cannon, blood spurting out both sides. So I could tell I hit him good, and the arrow was hanging out the far side of him by the fletchings, so I know it's a through and through. He's going to be leaking out both sides. Awesome, good clean shot. So then as soon as I make the shot, he takes off west and heads south down the bean fields. So we have a overgrown line of trees that we don't clean up directly to the south at the end of the lane. And he went around that and down the bean fields, because deer are lazy and they take the easiest route they can take. So that was that way. And he took off. I texted you, and I said, holy shit, I think I got one. And then you texted back to me, you shot a deer? And I said, yes. You said, holy shit. So you're out at the river house, and that's 90 miles from here.
Yes.
My neighbor is out hunting his farmland, which is about 20 miles or maybe 10 miles. I think it's 10 miles door to door. And he's up in a stand. So I texted him, I got one. And I shot one. He took off. He's like, all right. So this is like 8:15. So probably 15 minutes after I wanted to go home, I was done for the day. This guy comes walking in. 15 minutes. Had I got down 5 minutes earlier, I would not have shot this buck.
And you would have seen it on the cameras. And
darn it. Yeah. Well, not really, because I realized today that my memory cards are full on the cameras.
Oh.
So I formatted both cameras, so he wouldn't even have been on the cameras. So
you can't even go back and watch it all happen.
Right. Exactly. And that's what I was hoping for.
Yeah.
At least, because it takes like my cameras take like a 10-second video, so that'd be kind of cool. Get a 10-second video of him running off into the woods. And then, I text the neighbor, and he's like, all right, I know you're alone. I know this is your first time. Stay up in the stand for 30 minutes. So, okay. I'll hang out up here. I got myself situated.
The longest 30 minutes.
It was the longest 30 minutes of the year. I sat up there. I calmed down. I'm like, I got a deer. I played on Facebook a little bit, because I'd posted in a couple of the groups, like, I'm out here with my radio, and a little bit of chit chat back and forth, and I'm let a few of those people know, hey, it's been a good morning. I'm gonna start tracking one here in a few minutes. And then our neighbor, the cool neighbor's like, all right, I'll be home at 9:30. If you can find them, we'll get them handled. It's okay. So at 8:45, I get out of the stand, and I go look where he was, and I see which way he ran, so I know kind of where I'm going to start looking. I get down, I look at where he was when I shot him, and there's blood there. So I'm like, all right, awesome. My eyes were not playing tricks on me. I know I hit him. I know I hit him good, because there's blood right away. And that is key. And then I decided to go walk the way he was going, just taking my time. I can see his track in the dew in the morning, so I know, okay, he went exactly this way, so I can verify that. I get over to the bean field, and I walk, and I start headed south, and I look down, and there's my arrow laying on the ground. I'm like, awesome. And it's covered in blood. Like, clear as day, good hit, it didn't break off inside of them. The fletchings all have blood on them. So I'm like, all right, I'm on the right spot. And the bean field is still up, and the leaves are starting to come off of it. I think the farmer just started today working that field. There's still leaves on all the bean plants on that side of the woods. And I look at them and I'm like, all right, cool. I see every other plant has 10 drops on the leaves. So I'm like, all right, I'm on the right track. So I followed along the bean field and I looked at every single one of those bean plants, and every single other one, or every single one for like 150 yards, all has blood on it. So I'm like, all right, I'm looking over on, to my left, and I'm seeing on some of the plants that there's blood splats too. All right, cool. So I got blood coming out both sides. He's probably not going to last long. And sure enough, he ran about 150 yards from where I shot him to where I found him. And me being safety me, I stood back about 30 feet or so, recocked my bow, and I put an arrow in. And I walked up to him, just, kind of making a little bit of noise, hey, 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 just kind of yelling a little bit. If he got startled, I was going to shoot him again, because obviously he's not down. Well, I get up to him, and he's done. I mean, I don't see chest moving, I don't see any blood gurgling, so I know he's done. So before I get up to him, I, kick him in the back, just to make sure he's not going to startle and jump up. Well, I realize he's tangled up in the barbed wire fence. So that's obviously what caused him to stop there, was there's a barbed wire fence on the left side of this tree line, and his antlers are stuck in it. So obviously that's where he must have fallen and fell into him and got tangled up. And that's where I found him. So I texted a picture to you. I'm like, here he is, covered in blood. I got a deer. He's laying right here. We're good to go. So as soon as I laid hands on him, I put the tag on his leg, texted you, then I texted Craig, hey, I found it. It's been about 15 minutes now. He's like, all right, awesome. I'm 10 minutes out from the house, and I will get the ATV, and I'll get the sled, and then I'll come out and I'll meet you out there. Where exactly are you in the field? So I screenshotted my location on Google Maps with the blue dot on an iPhone, gives you that dot where you're at. So I sent that to him, west side of the two fields on the tree line. So he knew, came right around the corner, stopped the ATV, got out, looked, I waved at him, and he brought the ATV down. Well, I'd already tried starting to move him, and I got him spun 180 degrees. And I tied a rope to both of his legs, and I tried to drag him a little bit, and he might have moved about an inch. So this deer is every bit of 200 pounds. Like, I have this rope tied around my waist, and I'm trying to drag him out, just like a sled dog, basically. And he's not budging. I was worried I was going to break the rope. And then our neighbor drove the ATV in, and he's like, all right, let me get turned around, and we'll see if we can move him up a little bit to get the sled on him. We both tried to pull. We didn't move him an inch. Like, not even an inch. It's like, holy cow. This is the second biggest deer I've ever seen. Like, we cannot move this thing. I'm glad I have the sled. So we rolled him over a little bit, slid the sled along him, flipped him over onto the sled, and then tried to pull the sled. That didn't work. So he's on a sled. We can't pull him. And the ATV is now facing the deer. So he's got to turn the ATV around, hook it up to the hitch, and drag the deer back. So that's exactly what happened. We had to drag the deer back with the ATV on the sled, and that was the morning. So we ended up gutting the deer down by the pond, so we didn't mess up the area that I hunt. Have the coyotes come in case I wanted to go back down, or he wanted to go down, or one of his other friends who was spending the night from Florida wanted to go back and hunt that spot. So we gutted it down by the pond, through all the entrails to the catfish and stuff that are in the pond, and they pretty well cleared it up. Like, it's gone already, and it's been 2 days.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I sent you a whole bunch of pictures. We took a whole bunch of pictures down by the pond.
Yep.
And he's like, I can't believe we haven't seen this guy on the camera. I have, not even on his camera, not on my 2 cameras that are back there. He's like, this guy is huge. Like, this is like the biggest deer I've seen in a long time. And this guy has trophies hanging on his wall that are not as big as this deer. And it was really cool to be able to do it myself.
Mm-hmm.
Like, nobody went out there with me. It was just me, myself, my crossbow, my radio, sitting up in the stand. I made the call. I made the shot. I found them. Craig helped me,
Yeah, but that would be normal. That's not like...
Right. My neighbor helped me gut it, so, that's cool.
Mm-hmm.
We got him into into his garage. Of course, it is one of the hotter days of the year. It is 70 degrees, I think, that morning. So we packed him in ice. Got him hung up to drain out a little bit. Then I went to the store, got a bunch of bags of ice so we could pack the chest cavity and all that stuff. We didn't skin him right away. And then got him iced up and kept him cool for the day. And then in the morning when you got back, that's when we processed him.
Mm-hmm.
So, I think we pretty much had it all done by the time you got back. Like, there's a little bit, but...
Yeah, because then I went back and got, like, the leftovers to can.
Right.
So we make the stew meat.
Right. You want to talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, so... yeah, I mean, you guys were taking off the big, roasts
the big cuts,
and all the back straps. And I know our neighbor only likes, like, the certain cuts.
Right.
And so I said, I'm going to go back and kind of get all the meat that I can, little pieces, it's fine, and to either grind or can.
Right.
And so I went back on yours and on his, because then he got one.
Yeah, he got a normal size doe, like an average size doe. I don't know if I posted that picture anywhere. I'll have to post the picture of the 2.
Yeah, hanging
next to each other, because the size difference is like, holy cow. So he got one in the afternoon. He went back out, went hunting in the afternoon, and got a doe. So.
But yeah, I stood and just kind of went through, and just got the little pieces, and I filled 2 big gallon-sized bags, and you had some that you had already done. So,
Yep.
Then today I went through and cleaned it up, took out tendons, left some of the silver skin on it, and because once it's canned, you don't really...
Right. And I don't mind the silver skin.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't like it and think it's gamey. It doesn't bug me. Like, I hate it when somebody says something's gamey.
It's like, well, that's what it's supposed to...
Right. I mean, it's supposed to smell like, or taste like that. It's supposed to be oddball, so it is what it is.
Yeah. So it's kind of neat because there was the other friend there that was, an avid hunter, and I know our neighbor, I mean, he's been hunting for a million years.
Yeah.
And so 2 years ago, when you had the deer, and I think I was cleaning out the freezer, and it was like, I gotta move this. We're getting a hog probably pretty soon. I gotta get this stuff out of the freezer. I'm just gonna cube it up and can it just to have.
Yeah.
And we made it one night with just some green beans I'd canned and potatoes or mashed potatoes or something, and it was delicious.
Yeah.
Like a super easy, quick, all homemade meal.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, shoot, I got to give some of this to the neighbor. Like, this is really good. And he
Yeah.
was like, oh my God,
Yeah.
this is amazing. And so when we were talking about it, I had a small pint jar
Mm-hmm.
of it from then and gave it to his other friend because he was like, what? You know,
Yeah. Canned
what are you
venison?
doing
What are you
that
talking
for?
about?
And so he ate it just cold. And
Yeah.
it was like, oh my God, like it is so good. And it's so funny to see these like, you know, hunters that
Yeah.
are like, I know all the best cuts. And
Yeah.
it's like, yeah, they're awesome. But try this simple thing. And it's like, holy cow.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's fun.
Really good.
So I got 4 quarts of that done today. I'll do more tomorrow. And then we're going to grind some
Right. With
to
the
add
hog.
to the hog.
Yep.
For chili and stuff like that. Cause
Yeah, we might just do straight venison because that'll be good in the chili.
I think if we do straight, you're supposed to mix it, but we've already got the ground pork that's got fat in it,
Right.
and we do straight ground venison and mix it for chili. I think it'll be really good.
Yeah, I think it'll turn out really good. So I can't wait for that because I love chili, and chili season's going to be here before we know it.
Always chili on Halloween.
Always.
But yeah, it was. You had left. Oh, you took the head.
Yep.
Because now you're getting the head mounted.
Yep. Yeah, I'm gonna get this head mounted. So this is a 14-point buck. We measured him out at 130 and a quarter inches of antler length. Very cool rack to see. It's kind of got a couple spots that are starting to palm. So it's like a flat spot in the rack, and then a couple of points are starting to stick up. And just a really cool, oddball looking rack on them. And of course, it's my first deer, so I'm going to get them mounted. Mm-hmm. I mean, I found a place. It's Taxidermy by John Johnson here locally. And he's about 20-minute drive from here. And he's got a really good price. Like, he quoted me $400 to get the mount done, which does not seem like enough to me.
Yeah.
So
yeah, to know we're not going to do it for everyone, so
right.
it didn't really matter. Mm-hmm. But yeah, it's kind of like, wow, that's a really good price.
Yeah, and doing some more hunting. Like everybody in our area is $375 to $475. So I'll be really interested to see how it comes out. Like his photos that he has on his Facebook page look really good. Mm-hmm. And I even saw some of the deer that are in his studio when I dropped this thing off, and they look really cool.
Yeah.
So.
But yeah, you had left to take that. The other neighbor and his friend were up, just I think doing the final cuts and wrapping or
they're
sealing them up.
Yep.
And I was just in the garage, just by myself, just going through and cutting all the little pieces, and it was just, it's really cool. Like it felt really connected to ancestors and like the old times, like
right.
knowing that somebody else at some point
was in here
doing
this,
yes. With this awesome knife by
Patrick
MT Knives, and it was just, I was like in like my own little world.
Yeah.
Like just to know that this animal sacrificed itself to feed our family for a whole year now. Right. It's gonna make so many meals, and it's just amazing.
Yeah, I mean it's a lot of work,
mm-hmm.
but the payoff is really nice because the girls love venison. And
I think a lot of people think that hunters are just mean people, like they're just going out to kill an animal. Mm-hmm. But it's like this is going to be a huge benefit mm-hmm. to us. It's going to feed us for a long time, and we learn something from it. We try not to waste it.
Right.
None of it gets thrown away. The parts you didn't use, you give back to nature, and it eats it.
Yep.
And it's like,
and anything left over gets fed back to the coyotes. One of the guys, the neighbor's friend from Florida, had this golden retriever, mm-hmm. Which is a super cool dog. The dog name was Kono. It's a hunting dog in training, and we're getting ready to do mine, and our neighbor cuts off one of the legs and gives it to the golden retriever, and the golden retriever just goes and lays down and kind of just starts gnawing away on it. And I mean, she was like a proud puppy dog walking around with this leg. We gave her a second one. She's like, now I have two of them, and I don't know what to do with it.
I came home and got out of the truck, and she came running up with it, crying and jumping around.
Yep. So I got my toy.
Yep. And the pieces that I cleaned up, I mean, those got fed to the chickens, so the chickens ate.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, it does a lot. We appreciate that it gave its life for us, and thankful for it. And it's not just something that's going to hang on the wall. It's not just something to shoot. It's not just something to have fun. I mean, this is a lot of work.
And it's nice knowing that I was able to make an ethical shot on it too, and not just wound it.
Yeah.
And it take off, and somebody else get it. Like I was talking to one of the guys, one of the other hunters. It's not the two guys that were there, but it was another one where he shot a doe directly below his stand and shot it through its head and put the arrow basically through its brain. It survived, ran, and then somebody else shot it and got to keep it because they're the one that killed it. Well, this thing is running around with an arrow sticking out of its head, and it ran for a couple of miles, and another hunter got it. And the first hunter actually knew the second hunter, and as a joke, the second hunter had the deer mounted with the arrow sticking out of the head from the first hunter, and it's still there to this day.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's nice to be able to make the ethical shot and it not suffer too much. So.
Yeah, I mean, I think the whole thing goes with any of the animals that we process and use as food. I mean, it's a mental thing, and it seems like it's mean, but if you're eating meat, then eating this kind of meat is, I mean, by far better.
It's by far better. I would much rather
better for the animal. You know that they died nicely and respectfully and wasn't just something else in a factory.
And I could tell this was an older buck because we had checked it after the fact and realized that it was missing 90% of its teeth. So we're figuring this buck is 5, 6, maybe even 7 years old and on the downswing. So if it doesn't have any teeth, that means it's going to start losing weight, and it might not survive the winter.
Yeah.
So reality, it was a call, but it worked out that way, where he goes out, we eat, and he doesn't have to suffer a freezing cold winter and not be able to eat food.
Right, and hunting season is here for a reason.
Right, you call some of the deer and you let them go. I mean, it's just thinning out the herd. That's really what it's about. Now, I will say, I wasn't going out in the morning looking for the biggest buck I could find. I go with whatever is in front of me. You know, there's the old joke, if it's brown, it's down. I go after whatever presents itself in front of me, and then I make the call to take that shot. So this was the first one I had seen. I don't see a lot back there on the cameras. Maybe 3 deer. So I'm figuring, all right, if this is the buck that we see on the camera, then I'll take him. You know, the doe that I saw had a fawn with her, so I'm like, I'll let them, go throughout the year, and I'll just take the buck. Well, it turned out to be a different buck. So, took him. I still have a doe tag left. I don't know if I'm going to go back out later in the season and fill that tag. So we'll see how that goes. We do have shotgun season coming up as well. So we'll see how it plays out. I mean, really, we're kind of out of freezer space.
Yeah, we have to go through the freezer because we have a hog coming next month. We've got this.
Right. But back to this, don't let people, if you're new to hunting, don't let people dictate what you're going to shoot. Shoot your own trophy, not somebody else's. Don't make them tell you, well, you can only shoot the biggest buck you can get. I don't care if you come home with the 120-pound doe and lay it up next to a 230-pound buck. I'm still going to give you a high five for getting that, because it's hard no matter which way you do it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it will probably be very hard pressed for me to ever top this deer. But
it doesn't mean you're never going to go hunting again.
Right. I'm still going to go hunting, and I'm still going to put food in the freezer.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I go. I don't go for, I'm going to kill as many as I can while I'm out there.
Yeah.
And I'm only going to take the biggest ones I can take.
Mm-hmm.
You take the ones that you take for a reason, because either A, they're getting old, or B, you see something wrong. Like the first one I took.
Mm-hmm.
Like that was the first shot I took. The first deer that I took was an ethical shot. Because he's limping around, one leg's busted. Obviously, he got hit by a car because he's missing his antlers and his leg's busted. And this was early season, and all the other bucks should still have their antlers. So, you just do what you feel is right.
Mm-hmm.
The DNR is going to do it anyway with their sharpshooters at after deer season. You get all the sharpshooters in Illinois that go out and just shoot whatever and don't do anything with them.
Yeah.
So, but I think you had a little bit of fun helping out.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, yeah, the fun is the wrong word, but it's just awesome to do this kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Because it does connect you to the earth, it connects you to nature. You feel grateful for it, and it was like, the meat is fresh.
Right.
It's pure. It's healthy.
Yeah, absolutely. It tastes great.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we use it for a lot of stuff, and the kids love it.
Yeah, I mean, we make it. It helps us make homemade meals because we know it's there.
Right. And of course, the oldest wanted something to keep, so we haven't told her that we're actually getting the head mounted yet.
Yeah.
So she'll be happy about that.
Yeah.
And she'll have to come with me when I go pick it up.
Yeah.
She'll think that's really cool.
Yeah, I mean, and her saying that and being excited about it is also another awesome thing.
Yeah.
2 years ago, I don't think
she wouldn't even go in the neighbor's house to go look at the heads.
Yes, that's true. A couple of years ago, she wouldn't even go over there to look. Like, she wanted to, but didn't want to.
Yep.
And now she's in it, and she's knowledgeable, and she can talk to people about it.
Yep.
Maturely, and she knows that it's a serious thing, but is also really cool as a family.
Right. And I'm almost thinking, now that I have mine, take her back there one afternoon. She can sit up in the stand with me.
Yeah, I don't know that she would go up there, but you could try. I really don't know if she'd go up there. It's pretty rickety.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's a deer stand. You got to get used to climbing up.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I would be interested, or get a 2-person ground blind or something, and she can come sit back with me.
One of those little tents.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I have a single person.
Yeah, I think she would really have fun.
Yeah.
And she would learn to be quiet.
That's the biggest problem, I think. I don't think she will.
We do have tape. We have duct tape.
Yeah. Yeah. She can turn the volume down on the iPad. No. So, but yeah, I should have the mount back in a couple of months.
Yeah, we'll see.
Be looking forward to that. We've got to find a spot to hang it in this house. But I got a semi-sneak pose with it looking to the left. So we'll have to find a spot to do that. That'd be kind of cool.
Yeah, we'll figure it out.
Yep. So.
Well, you'll see lots of venison recipes coming up on
looking forward to it. The only problem
page.
is we didn't find any puffballs.
Yeah, we made puffball soup with venison backstrap last year.
That was delicious.
But we'll have pot pie.
Mm-hmm.
We'll have venison and dumplings.
Yep.
We'll have venison.
The grilled venison, like the
The
grilled.
back strap.
Yeah, that's good.
And venison stroganoff.
Mm-hmm.
And yes, there'll be venison chili.
Yep.
We grind it. We've never ground it before.
No.
I know
That'd be
we've
interesting to see.
had it ground like from people.
Yeah, I think they call it muff, which is like a 50-50 mix
Yeah.
for beef or pork. That's usually what we've made our chili with the past couple of years.
Yeah, when we've gotten it from somebody,
Yeah.
but we've never ground our own because we always just wanted, the roast, the Mississippi roast we've done
Yeah,
it with,
I can't
and
wait
that's
for
really good.
that.
Now we'll be able to use our homemade pepperoncinis with
Yeah,
that.
that'll be good.
Those are the things that like get my heart pumping. Like, it's so
Right.
simple, but it's like to know that this meal
Mm-hmm.
is made from stuff that we've harvested in different ways is just. It's
Right.
really cool, especially in the winter when it's snowing out and we're eating fresh,
fresh meat from
preserved food.
and fresh peppers and
Yep.
I mean, I'm really gonna miss the puffballs, but whatever.
Yeah, yeah. Well, it's a good thing because our freeze dryer. Although I did dehydrate them, but
Yeah,
yeah,
we got to get that freeze dryer upstairs. We got shipment notification on all the parts to
Yeah.
ship that back, so we should have that. But the day this episode posts,
yeah,
so probably tomorrow we'll have to pull it out of the basement. We got lifting straps, like the
Yeah.
mover straps.
it is obnoxiously huge
Yeah,
and so awkward. There's nothing to grab onto. That's one thing that I would change. Like you need some handles or something
yeah,
because it's
Yeah.
all slippery.
yeah. So I got the professional mover straps that you can slide underneath it, and I think that'll work better than trying to do the two-wheel
Yeah.
hand cart up the
Yeah, we'll
stairs.
see.
So
At least it's not a turning staircase or anything.
right, yeah. We'll see how it goes.
Yep.
So I mean, we can't break it any more than it's already broke.
Right, but yeah. Oh, by the way, we dropped it. Can you fix that too?
Yeah. So, yeah, that's the update on the freeze dryer. We got a deer in the freezer.
Yeah.
It's been a busy weekend, and I got some work done on the shed.
Yeah.
While I was waiting for you to come home and waiting on them to get back Sunday morning from hunting.
Mm-hmm.
I got all the feeders, the door closers, and the protectors to go over the cage wire for the rabbits. So we will start working on that. I got half the cages done. I got the feeders in the other half, so I got to go through and do the doors. And then we can start moving everybody over once we
Yes.
get the water in.
Start breeding.
Yeah, so we got to do that.
Mm-hmm.
That's going to be, see if we breed now, it's early October, so we got to go 30 days till we have kits. So that'll be early November. Then December, January, February. Which I think is about right.
We've done it in February before.
Yeah. So.
And that's when you open them up and all the steam comes
Yeah.
out.
You want to do them fast because it keeps your hands warm.
Yeah.
And there's no need for ice.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I think that's pretty much about it for this
Yeah.
week.
Yeah.
So I think we're gonna go get some sleep because we've been pretty tired.
Yeah. Kids are away.
Yep. Get
Getting
some
lots
sleep.
done,
Watch
yep.
some TV. Have some cherry pie.
Yeah. Amish
Cherry pie, which is really really good.
celebration pie.
Exactly. So, all right, guys. We'll see you next week.
All right. See you on the homestead where something is always growing, eating, or cooking.